Alright, what is up YouTube? The Mummy Dust here, back with a new video for our series, Noob to Pro Tips. Today we're going to be talking about Stardust. So, the best ways to gain Stardust, the best ways to spend Stardust, things of that matter. So the first thing that we're going to do, dang that Kobe disappeared, is talk about coins a little bit. So what I do with my coins is I save them up. I have not put money into the game since I got some gift cards on Christmas and I spent past that amount. So now I just save my coins, and then I recommend saving up for a box, because you can see in this box there's 6 premium raid passes and 2 incubators, super incubators. So those are worth the 780 coins, where if you just spent 800 coins, you wouldn't be able to get the 6 premium raid passes and the 2 super incubators. So that's just over 2 weeks of coin saving. And then you get the star pieces and the lucky eggs for free. So we're going to go ahead and buy this box. I would like to save up for the adventure box, but I know that this event ends today at 4, so I know I won't have enough coins to do it. So if you can even save up, about a month's worth of coins for the adventure box, or like a really good box. This has 16 incubators in it for less than 1,500 coins, plus the other free things. So then we're going to go ahead and put on a star piece. And the first thing I really want to talk about, dang, that Machop disappeared too. But the first thing that I want to talk about is patience in this game. So since the very beginning of the game, Stardust has become more and more valuable every time they've come out with something. So if you think about it, trading came out, Stardust was more valuable. Exclusive moves came out, Stardust was more valuable. So like if you didn't evolve, let's say 100%, Dratini, and then Draco Meteor came out. That one's not as good as an example because Draco Meteor is not better than Outrage, but you kind of get the point. Like Smackdown Tyranitar, so if you saved Tyranitars, you didn't invest a whole bunch of Stardust into them, or you had good Larvatars, you were rewarded with that. As well as the PvP coming out, and the ability to have lower classes. So some of the things that maybe were really good and you didn't power up are even better now because they fit in that specific class. For example, maybe a Mudkip is really good as Marsh Top, or Medicham, stuff like that. Medicham doesn't really max out anyways, but if you would save your Stardust for it, then you have it. So that's the number one thing for me, is patience. It's extremely important. We're going to go ahead and throw a lucky egg on too, because I'm going to be catching my stack. This event ends today, so we're at double Stardust right now. So I'm going to be catching the Pokemon on my stack as well. Hopefully we can get a shiny. I was going to sit at like a 3-stop area and lure it up, but I wasn't able to. It's a little bit too chilly to be sitting outside still. It is getting warmer, so you can start getting outside a lot more. But I'm just going to be sitting here in this spot and catch these Pokemon under a star piece and a lucky egg. So tip number 1 is that patience. So you do want to save it up. I recommend, if you're a new player, before you spend any Stardust, save up 1,000,000 Stardust. What that allows you to do is it allows you to gain your Pokemon collection and really make you force yourself to save that Stardust. So like if you get like raid bosses or anything like that, you can have better and better Pokemon. By the time you have 1,000,000 Pokemon, you probably have a lot of things to choose from, and you may get better things than what you had originally that you thought about spending Stardust on. So tip number 1 is going to be patience. Also, if you could keep around 1,000,000 Stardust, that is a great idea as well, because you never know when you could run into that really good trade. I was at GoFest last year, and somebody wanted to trade a shiny Absol for a Relicanth, and one person didn't have enough Stardust to complete the trade. So you spend all that time looking for a good trade partner, and then you're like, oh, I don't even have enough Stardust to make this trade. And now your regional Pokemon, or maybe you got 2 shiny Absols from raids, that's kind of pointless at this point. So I think I'm running into some lag here. There we go. But so patience is key. Step number 2 is the ways to gain Stardust. I'm going to mention those. So obviously catching Pokemon is one of the more simple ways to do it. So when you normally catch a Pokemon, it's 100 Stardust. If you have a star piece on, it's 150 because it adds 50%. If it is an evolved Pokemon, then you get 300, and then you add another 50% for that. And if it is a tier 3, it's like a third tier evolution, like a Butterfree, or say you're super lucky and there's like a wild Tyranitar or something, that is worth 500 Stardust. And if it's weather boosted, then you just add another 25% to that. So that's the best way to gain Stardust, in my opinion, is catching Pokemon. Other ways to gain Stardust, you can hatch eggs. So let's check out the eggs. So what I do is I use my infinite incubator always on 2K eggs. I never use an incubator that I spent coins on to hatch 2K eggs, just because it's so much more efficient to use the infinite incubator for 2K eggs. You'll hatch more eggs with it. And then what I do is I will start collecting up 10Ks and just use my infinite incubator on anything that's not a 10K. And then if I'm lucky enough to get a box with my coins that has super incubators or regular incubators, then once I get 9 10K eggs, I use my infinite one to get it to 0.33, and then so that they can hatch all at once, and I can do that all on a star piece. Another way to get Stardust is to feed berries to your Pokemon in the gym. So if you have gym defenders, click on that Pokemon, hit go to gym, and then you can feed it berries. We're going to go ahead and heal this gym up a bit here so that people might be a little bit more reluctant to take it out, because I am about gold in it. And I will get gold if I do feed it enough berries. This event ends soon, so I'm trying to take advantage of it, like I said. So you want to feed berries, especially if you're under a star piece. I definitely recommend doing this when you're on a grind. Save up your berries for like a time like this where you're grinding out. You can catch your stack Pokemon, things like that. Another way to gain Stardust is through quests. You saw that I caught a Machoke off of a quest that I had saved. So that's an evolved Pokemon, so that's more Stardust. There's also quests that just straight out give out Stardust. And then opening up gifts from your friends gives Stardust. And actually, when you open up gifts from your friends, if you do it under Star Piece, you still gain more experience. Same with claiming a quest reward. So if you're lucky enough to find a quest that gives you like 1,000 Stardust, then you definitely want to have an egg on, or a Star Piece on, so that you can take advantage of that. You get another 50%. You can also do it like if you're doing your first catch of the day for your 7-day streak, or if it's like a Stardust event like this, then that's extremely helpful. I'm going to throw this incense on too. But then we're also going to be using that quick catch method that I talked about so that you can utilize it more. So if you missed that, that was my latest video, and it shows you how to do this method that I'm using here, which basically just skips the Pokeball shake scene so that it's more efficient to do so, to catch Pokemon. And then the final way that you can get Stardust is from PvP battles. So if you know somebody, you want to go ahead and do it. So I'll actually do an example here. I always think I need to go there, but you can even, right now, they're giving you Stardust to battle. We'll go ahead and do Blanche because she's the easiest in the Great League. You can get 3 rewards for just doing this. So hopefully we'll get some Stardust here. It's also a way to get Sinnoh Stones, Charge TMs, Rare Candies, stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you're always battling the trainer. And if you have friends, you want to battle them as well. So after this little thing here, so Altaria is just OP in the Great League. And I was lucky enough to get a shiny one that maxes out around 1492, so that's pretty cool. It's one of my favorite things. So I am going to be doing a Tempest Cup this coming up weekend, and I can be doing some videos on that as well. Let me know in the comments below if you are into PvP tournaments, and we could probably add each other as friends and practice and throw videos up on the channel. Another thing, so let's see what we got here. So I won, and I got Stardust. So that's awesome. That's probably one of the best things to get. You know, it's kind of underrated getting Stardust from the raid battles. But another thing to talk about is when you should spend your Stardust. So if you are a newer player, like I said, I recommend saving until you have 1 million. Then you can kind of see, you know, your best Pokemon that you have once you get to that point, because it does take a little bit to get there. If you just don't spend it at all, you will be surprised at how fast it stacks up. But I only spend Stardust when I'm looking to do something very specific, especially since I have, you know, my teams maxed out. Mainly I have, you know, 6 Machamps maxed out, 6 Tyranitars maxed out, 6 max out Dragons, stuff like that. So once you get to that point, then saving up Stardust is extremely easy. But unless you're looking to do something specific, like a new raid boss, if you want to try and duo that, or, you know, trio it, or do it with the lower amount of people, you can spend Stardust then. And then obviously PvP, that's a huge thing. If you're into PvP, unlocking extra moves, you know, powering up new Pokemon for, you know, the Sylph Road arena, that's a good way to spend it as well. But you always want to make sure that, and we can do a video about IVs, the Pokemon is at least your trainer's best appraisal, which means it's an 82% or higher. Unless it is PvP, there are specific IV combinations that require it to be less of a good appraisal. But you want to make sure that it has the correct IV for whatever you're powering up. So do some research. I always, if I'm powering up a Pokemon to battle a raid boss, I want it to be at least a 96 overall, with 15 attack. And if I'm powering it up for like PvP, I want it to be as close to that threshold as I can, as close to 1500 or as close to 2500 as I can if I'm doing those. And then the final thing that I have to say about it is take advantage of these events where you're getting double Stardust like I am now. So I could have caught this Starmie when I completed the reward, but I didn't, simply because now it's worth twice as much Stardust, and under the star piece, it's worth even more. So it is good, especially to save these evolved ones. You want to try and make sure that you don't save over 100, but that's kind of difficult to do. Save over 100, as long as you're kind of paying attention to it. But those are my Stardust tips. So take advantage of the events. Be patient. Hatch eggs. Catch Pokemon. Feed berries and gems. And I would always recommend saving around 1 million Stardust, so that you can have it, and so that, gosh, I got 2 Rosalias off of there. And that, especially if you're a new player, then you'll have better Pokemon at the end of the time period that it takes to get 1 million Stardust. So save up that Stardust. Only spend it when you have to, if you're looking to do something specific. If you want to, say, solo a new tier 3 raid boss, or there's a new raid boss out and you don't really have the best counters for it, then you can power Pokemon up that way. But other than that, just save up that Stardust and grind away. I will see you guys in the next video. Please make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it very much. And hit that notification bell so that I can see you in the next video. Thank you.